welcome to Inquiring Minds. My name is Doug and I'm back with another fountain pen review. If you can get past the blatant copying of the Pelikan M800 design, the Admok M800 is an excellent fountain pen. I'm sure that it will end up on my Best of 2024 video in December. So when I saw the Admok M400, I had to get one to see how close it is to the Pelikan M400. And especially in this gorgeous blue marble acrylic, I had to have one. Now that it's here, let's take a close look at it right now. And here we have another package from China. Now let's open it up and find out what it is today. Oh, they've sent me a package of bubble wrap. It says, Mr. Magoo, pen.
Strike! Break! Yeah!
Interesting box. This is the, I'm not going to guess until I open it. I see a Hongdian style wrench. The cap says Admok Ingenuity, China on it. It's a piston filler and it's about the size of my M600. Let's get out both my 800 and my 600 and do some comparing. So yeah, no, it's even smaller. So they are following the convention of the Pelikan naming for the different sizes, because this is a Pelikan M400 sized pen. This is my newer version, but a transparent barrel of the blue striped M800. This is a new old stock. Well, it's not new now because I've used it, but when I got it, it was new old stock from the 1990s. It has the different kind of finial on it. M600 in the green and transparent stripe. And this is the Admok M400 in the Pelikan M400 size. They're calling it the Ingenuity, but I bought it as an M400. Let's see the nib. Yeah, it's a number 5 size nib. And it's a Schmidt steel, and it is a medium. I've often thought the M400s might be too small for my grip, but it feels very nice in the hand. And it is a piston filler. There we go. That takes a wrench. So the Admok M400. I'll show the parts and features of this pen, some size comparisons and measurements, and then provide a writing sample. And then I'll talk about what I like and what I don't like so much about this fountain pen. My first question is, how close is this Admok to the Pelikan M400 in size? I don't have a Pelikan M400, I have the overall measurements of one, but I do have a Pelikan M600 and a Pelikan M800. So here are the three sizes lined up. The M400 Admok, the M600 Pelikan, and the M800 Pelikan. The Admok M400 is 125 millimeters long capped, 153 millimeters long posted, and 11.7 millimeters in diameter on the barrel. The Pelikan is exactly the same length, 125 millimeters long, capped, 5 millimeters shorter when it's posted at 148 millimeters, and the same 11.7 millimeters in diameter on the barrel. So in overall dimensions, they are virtually identical to each other, except for the Admok being 5 millimeters longer posted. Of course, the Pelikan M400 is a number 5 size, 14 karat gold nib, not steel. I did a video disassembling this pen with the provided wrench and then filling it with ink. So let's see that video now, and I'll be back with the parts and features of it. So here is the Admok M400 piston filler with its wrench that came with it. Let's see about taking it apart and then filling it up with ink. I want to find out how much ink capacity this smaller Pelikan M400 size pen takes. So we'll take the cap off. Let's get our wrench out here. We take the nib unit out just like that. And we take it out first. Unscrew the section now. And you can actually, because that section comes off, you don't have to use the wrench to pull the piston out. You could actually service this pen without ever having to take the piston apart. Just take the nib and the section off and rinse it out from within. Move the piston all the way to the front like that. Take a syringe and rinse it, or just put this whole thing in some water to soak it and rinse it and dry it out. and then you can refill it. But if you ever need to get some silicone grease on that piston, you'll need to take the piston out. So you open the piston up, put the wrench on it like that, close the piston down on top of the wrench, and it is a right-handed thread. So righty loosey, lefty tighty. So the opposite of what you usually know. There is the piston mechanism, and it seems to be, instead of brass, it's in an aluminum or white metal of some kind. To do some maintenance on this, all you'd have to do, and I would suggest that you not do this, do not remove this knob any further. It's possible you can take this piston right out, you can take that knob right off, and you can take the center collar key unit out of there. I've already done that, and I suggest you not do it. It takes a long time to get it to go back together again properly and line everything up. So don't do that. You don't need to. Leave the wrench attached to the unit while you're doing your maintenance. At this point, just get out some silicone grease and just put a little dab on the piston. That's all you need to do. Just run that around. That piston, that's the part that slides up and inside the barrel. And if you want, you can add some grease to these threads as well while you're at it. And you can add a little bit of silicone grease to those threads right there, just to make sure you're covered for any kind of leakage. I've also checked and make sure sometimes these rings come off. This one doesn't, but if yours does, make sure you put it on before you put the piston back in. Put the ring on first. And then you're going to have a left-hand turn to tighten the piston back down again. Just going to use my gripper material here just to give it a hand-tight turn. Just hand-tight. Don't crank on it or you'll break the acrylic. And then release the piston like that, and the wrench should drop off, and then you're good to go. Adding a little bit of grease while we're here, just to that section, because I didn't do that when I cleaned it out last time for myself, just to try it out, and I got a little bit of seepage onto my hands from that section. So put that on there, wipe off the excess, drop the nib unit back in, hand tight, just like that, and now all we have to do is fill the pen. And before I fill it up, I'm just going to weigh the body of the pen. It is 10.36 grams. I'm going to press tear. I'm going to use Assegal. I love Assegal in these blue Pelikan-like pens. Nib down into up to the end of the section and turn the piston so it's down all the way, and then turn it back. Do that a couple of times. Wipe off the excess ink and reweigh the pen. And it takes 0.96 milliliters of ink, so significantly less than the large size piston on the M800. Overall, this is a smaller pen. Here it is with a Pilot Metropolitan, and you can see the Metro is about 5 to 8 millimeters longer and slightly thicker at the center. The top finial of the Admok M400 is as close a mimic of the Pelikan Souverain finial as you can get without actually putting the Pelikan logo on the top. It's laser engraved with the Admok Phoenix rising with a single star. It's actually very attractive. The clip is a direct copy of the Pelikan design, resembling a pelican's beak, and it's nicely springy and usable. The black plastic cap tapers up and then is straight to here, where there's a single gold cap band that says Admok on the front and Ingenuity China on the back. I don't know that there's a tremendous amount of ingenuity involved in slavishly copying someone else's design, though. There's a slight step down to the blue acrylic barrel, which has a nice amount of sparkle and chatoyance to it and is slightly transparent. You can see the piston inside this part, so you can see your ink levels with this pen. And the barrel is straight to here, where there's a gold band separating the black plastic piston knob from the barrel, and the bottom of the piston knob has got a slight dome to it. The cap unscrews with one turn to reveal the black plastic tapering section, which is almost identical to the Pelikan M400 section, except for the absence of a gold band around the top. And there we see the number 5 size Schmidt steel nib, this one in a medium. It has the typical Schmidt scroll work with the script M inside that curvy square, and then it says Schmidt Iridium Point. and there's the black plastic feed. The nib and the feed are part of a nib unit that unscrews from the section for maintenance or replacement. The section also removes from the top of the barrel. This is unlike the Pelikan M400, which doesn't remove, but you have to take that nib unit out first. So take the nib unit out first, and then you can unscrew that section. That makes it a lot easier to clean this piston filler, but if you do unscrew this, put a good amount of silicone grease on those threads before you replace it. I speak from experience. The inside of the cap shows a black plastic sleeve that seals the nib from drying out. The cap posts deeply and securely, and the pen isn't too long or unbalanced to write with comfortably this way. Unposted, the pen is plenty long enough to write with comfortably. I bought this pen from the 365 Days stationery store on AliExpress, where it currently retails for $31.08 US and is available in 20 different finishes, many of which have the same acrylic on the cap section and piston knob. And there are 7 nib options, 4 Schmidts, EF, F, M, and B, and 3 so-called normal nibs, which I assume are Admok, in EF, F, and M. And then there's a Pelikan spelled wrong, no nib option, which is currently sold out. But I'm wondering whether that means they'll sell this pen without a nib at a reduced price so you can put an actual Pelikan nib in that section. I don't know that the Pelikan nib unit will fit this pen, and I'm not going to take one for the team to find out. Now let's look at some size comparisons. And here's the Admok M400 in blue acrylic with a Pelikan M600 in green stripe, a Pelikan M800 in blue stripe, an Admok M800 in Galaxy, and a new to me Leonardo Momento Zero in Pietra Marina. Now let's look at them posted. And here they are posted. All of these pens post very nicely. The Souverain design is one of the best posters in fountain pen design, in my opinion, in the world. The Admok posts very nicely, but slightly longer than the Pelikan M400 that it's copying. This is a number 5 size steel nib. This is sort of between a number 6 and number 5 size from Pelikan. This is a 14 karat gold broad Pelikan nib. This is a number 6 size 18 karat gold nib on the M800 Pelikan. The Admok M800 has a Bach steel nib, number 6 size, and the Leonardo is a number 6 size steel stub nib. Now let's look at them unposted. And here they are unposted. You can see that they're all relatively the same size, unposted, but the girth really varies from the slim M400 Admok to the relatively thick Leonardo Momento Zero. Now let's look at some measurements, and I'll be back with a writing sample. And we're back with the writing portion of the review. This is Clairefontaine 90 GSM paper, and this is the Admok M400. And it has a number 5 size steel medium nib by Schmidt. And let's check the wetness. And this is a decently wet nib, and it's very, very smooth. I've not actually been very fond of number 5 size nibs, or Schmidt nibs for that matter, but this Schmidt is very, very nice, wet and smooth. And the ink is a Roshizuku Asagao, which means morning glory blue. A beautiful, bright blue that isn't too saturated, so when you get it on your fingers, which I've been doing a lot with this pen, it's easy to clean off. As to line variation, well, you can push out a little bit, but this is a fairly stiff steel nib. And the line the nib makes is about a 0.5 millimeter line, which makes it a Western fine or Japanese fine to medium. And for our quote, and for some reverse writing, well, it's pretty scratchy and dry. Let's do some quick writing. It is very wet And that feed is keeping up nicely. So what do I like and what do I not like about this fountain pen? I like that the M400 and M800 Admoks are very close copies of the M400 and M800 Pelikan. And that's what I dislike about the pens as well. They are very close copies of other people's designs. It's the same thing as the Moonman M800 copying the Leonardo Momento Zero. The copying of the Leonardo design is almost exact, which shows how well Moonman can copy a design. But the good part is that if you were in the market for buying a Pelikan M800 or M400 or a Leonardo Momento Zero, you can purchase one of these copies at a much lower price and get a really good idea of how the real thing will fit in your hand. The nib experience will be completely different, of course, but the feel in the hand will be similar. My recommendation, if you are toying with the idea, is to save up and purchase a genuine gold nib Pelikan fountain pen while you can. Who knows how long Pelikan will continue now that they've been taken over as a subsidiary of a large corporation, or at least continue at their current quality levels. My Pelikan M800 is the finest fountain pen I own. The Admok M400 copy is pretty, well built, and the pen is relatively inexpensive. It is a small pen, so if an M800 is too big for your hands, the M400 size should be good for you. The piston is excellent, the section removes easily for cleanup, so you should never have to disassemble it, and it takes a decent amount of ink. To my surprise, the nib was very nice, smooth, wet, and a good size proportion to the pen. It writes a smooth and wet fine line. If you want a medium line, get the broad Schmidt nib, because this medium writes like a fine. And there are a lot of nib choices here for a Chinese pen, 4 Schmidts and 3 Admoks, plus a huge variety of finishes to choose from. And there you have it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell to get instant notifications whenever a new video is posted. And you can join as a member of my channel for only 99 cents a month, and I guarantee I'll answer your comments in the comment section, and you'll get cool emojis, badges, sneak peek unboxing videos, as well as instant notification whenever a new video is posted. And that just leaves it for me to say thank you for watching. And that's all she wrote.
I made this.